So it's a Thursday afternoon, and one of my rare occasions where I'm going with the camera on my own. Going to concentrate on local wood and going to see what we've got in the last couple of hours before sunset. Now, when I've done this one before, I've found it's about 1,400 steps from my front door, so it takes about 10 minutes to walk there. We'll see you again. So we're just coming up to the entrance to the wood and to the 1,000 step mark, right at the beginning of lockdown, so 18 months-ish ago. There was a chap over in Norway came up with the 1,000 step challenge, and so I had one a go at that, and taking one or two very, very large strides right at the end so I could get to somewhere that had a view for the 1,000 steps. I come to this point here, and let me just turn the camera around and then you'll see where I went. So this is the gate that I stood in front of, and the challenge was 1,000 steps, and once you got there you had 3 minutes to take the photo. Unfortunately, that 3 minutes was just a little too short. It's a nice little scene. This is the end of Stinting Lane, and that 3 minutes was a little too short because about half a minute after I took the photograph, there was a family of 4 came cycling down here, which would have added a bit of interest to the shot, but that was my effort. So this is where I got with the 1,000 steps. Let's head into the wood. Now this is all Forestry Commission land, and it is a managed woodland, so every so often they come and thin some of the trees out. It's quite a popular destination for dog walkers, and there's a little car park here. Small car park, enough for 4 cars here, and as you see the van parking where it shouldn't. Now I'm in two minds. I can either go through that path there, that will take me around the outskirts, or I can go up the main path and bear right. I think that's what I'm going to do on balance, because that will take me into a nice interesting spot. Okay, so we've arrived at the first location I wanted to try. There's a lovely little path leading into the wood with a little patch of sunlight. I'm going to get set up and we'll see what happens. Okay, so that's the first couple done. One landscape, one portrait. I'll pop them up now and you can see what I've done. So as you can see here, there's a patch of bright green and yellow in the middle of the photo. That's what I was trying to pick out because it was being highlighted with the sun. This is where my editing skills need honing. The patch doesn't look as inviting now as it did, but I've tried to enhance the photo somewhat. This is the scene that I saw, and I've limited to this photo because I realised that I'd got this camera setting on auto ISO, which is as well because when I realised and I dropped everything back down to 100 ISO, I didn't realise there was so much breeze around and everything was shaking and nothing looked sharp. So I'm limiting myself to this one shot, and for what it's worth, it's the shot that I took. So this is a very mixed woodland. The bit I'm in at the moment is mainly conifer, but let me just turn the camera around and you'll be able to see what I'm seeing. It's a bit of an untidy wood. There's a lot going on. Bracken dying off, of course. This is the path I've just walked along. There it is, there's the path, and these are the bushes that I've just photographed with the sunlight playing on them. So carry on and see what else we can find. Ooh, what a lovely fallen tree that we can try to do something with. Now, it's been very sunny here for most of the day. The evening clouds have now started to form, so we are starting to lose the light. The first couple of photos I took, because of I wanting depth of field, I was using the 100 to 400 lens at about 250mm. I needed f22, so I was down to 6 seconds at ISO 100. But here I've got the sun behind me, so we should be able to do a little better on a different lens. Let's get set up. So the first thing I need to do is level up the camera. I'm using a 3-way head, you may notice. It does the job for me. The next thing, flip it onto live mode, and there's the shot, and I've swapped to my 24 to 105 lens, and at the moment we are fairly wide. We were actually on 24-ish. So let's zoom in, because one thing I don't want is too much sky. And there we go. That's about where I want it. Now you'll notice I've got 1 second at f8, and we are at ISO 100, of course. And one thing I'm finding about live view with the histogram, That's giving me a very, very accurate way of judging the exposure. So I can actually, expose to the right. It is clipping slightly, but I'll be able to pull that back in post. Let's now focus. Zoom in, because that's where I want the focus to be. Zoom back out. Just check depth of field, so bring the focus point down here. Zoom in again. Depth of field preview, that's fairly sharp on the green leaves, so that should be fine. So if I have picture just about there, the tree is in the upper third, roughly the intersection just there of the lines of thirds, and with the remote, there we go, that's looking good. Notice what I've done is flipped it into portrait, and we're zoomed right in at 105mm. I've altered the angle slightly so that we do have some sky, so therefore I don't want that to blow out, so I've adjusted the shutter speed to 0.4 of a second, and take the shot. That's looking good. Now you'll notice here that I've gone for a square crop. Again, editing skills, I'm only basic and still trying to hone those skills, but what I wanted to do was try and get rid of some of the distraction. I still love this tree and with the way that it's fallen, but I wanted to highlight the fact that it had fallen and try just to bring out some of the contrast in the bark of the trees. So rather than opt for the landscape format or portrait, I just went for a straight square crop. Now you'll notice I'm using Canon equipment. I've got the 1DX Mark 1 and I'm actually using a Gitzo tripod with a Manfrotto head. Now what a lovely sight that is. As I say, this is a very mixed wood. The part that I'm in at the moment is mainly conifer, but you notice down at the bottom there's a lovely, lovely beech which is just glowing. That's something I have to have, and you notice the lovely V shape to the two trunks. So see what we can do with this. And I can't believe how much breeze there was on this afternoon. You'll notice movement in the branches of some of the trees, but it was really a lovely golden colour that I've tried to enhance here. I really do like the way that the trunks of the trees form that V with just that golden colour shining out. I've tried to crop it to get rid of some of the foreground, and yeah, I like that. Now, while I've been out this afternoon and we are getting near to sunset, you can see in the distance the sun's nearly hit the horizon. But while I've been out, I've come across a lovely chap called Mike, who, like me, is an amateur photographer who loves being out in the woods. He knows these woods very well, and he brought me down to this corner of the wood that I've hardly ever been to before. And I'm just finishing the day off now with this shot here. So as you can see, I'm back onto the 100 to 400 lens. I'm zoomed out to about 125mm. But because I want to get the colours but avoid the burning out of the sky, I've opted for the 0.9 grad, just to keep the exposure something like. And so at the moment, because again there's a lovely beech tree, you notice, just about here, and I want that colour, but I also want the gate and bench in focus as well. So I've opted for the f22, which is taking me down to a 15-second exposure. And this is the result. Again, movement in the leaves. For this one, I'm not really concerned about that. But doesn't the colour look gorgeous with the beech mast and leaves on the floor, the trees, and I really do like that kissing gate that's left there. The sun was starting to go down, of course, and there was only about 5 minutes to sunset, so I'll pop up the second one that really highlights that golden colour. And here you can see the tree that I was aiming to enhance in the background. Left the kissing gate out of this one, but the lovely texture in the bark of that beech tree with the golden sunlight as the sun's descending toward the horizon. It's certainly a location that I will be coming back to again. But that's it as far as I'm concerned now. It's coming up for 4 o'clock, well, 20 to 4, and the light is going. I need to be back now before 4 o'clock, so just going to pack up and then home. Well, it's been a lovely afternoon. I'm really pleased I managed to speak with Mike, and he's introduced me to a part of the wood that I totally neglected. But look at the colour of the beeches, even now. Most of the colour's gone, of course. We're nearly at sunset. Most of the trees have lost most of their colour. So yes, the colours have been absolutely marvellous, and although most of the colour has gone because of the lateness of the season, this is certainly a part of the wood that I will return to. So hope you've enjoyed this. It was a bit different for my workshop journey. This is a workshop because I'm trying to learn how to edit and take photos, but join me again.